Well, greetings everyone, and welcome to another special edition of Movie Goodness here on the KB Radio Network. And yes, today, this episode right now, we're going to review the Netflix Russo brothers action thriller, The Gray Man. This is a film that I was looking forward to when it was first announced. First trailer came out, I was hyped up, and it dropped this past Friday on July the 22nd on Netflix, and that was the first order of business on Friday to watch The Gray Man. I would say a little overly excited for the movie. I wasn't, over the moon, bucked up, called in to work so I can watch it. I was just excited that the day has come to watch this movie because all parties involved I was excited for. We have the Russo brothers directing and co-writing the screenplay, who are famously known for their work on the Avenger films, namely Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, along with directing Captain America Winter Soldier and Captain America Civil War. They also done work on the Funny Show, which I didn't get in till later when the show was on Netflix. I never watched it when it was on NBC. Community. My daughter is a big fan of that show, and she pretty much tied me to a chair and made me watch it when it was on Netflix, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was funny. They didn't direct all the episodes and stuff, but they directed a few of those episodes. They, dipped their toe in a few other projects as well. Netflix movie Extraction, which starred Chris Hemsworth, wasn't the strongest of movies, but as far as an action movie is concerned, it was exciting. And this property here, you have them directing. They co-wrote it along with two of the writers from the Avengers films and Captain America's films that they worked on. So they're collaborating again. I'm like, okay, all right. So we got a nice little formula going so far. Then you have Chris Evans, who we all know as Captain America himself. He's in this film, so they're used to working with each other. So, okay, cool. Then you add in Ryan Gosling, who I'm a big fan of. Been dying to see him in this type of action movie for a long time. So I'm like, okay, things are looking up. Things are looking up. Then you add on Ana de Armas, who I'm also a fan of. You have Jessica Hardwick, Billy Bob Thornton. The list goes on and on. All these people are involved here. Then this is Netflix's most expensive movie ever. They spent $200 million to make this movie. Netflix. We're not talking Warner Brothers, Universal, Sony, Marvel, and all that. No, this is Netflix spending $200 million on a film, not a series. We ain't talking Stranger Things. Stranger Things whole season probably cost $200 million. I don't even think it cost $200 million for that entire season. But this movie cost $200 million. So I was excited for that. And so here we are. I watched it. And my overall thoughts, I enjoyed this movie. I think this film is an homage to 90s action movies. This isn't your, plot twists out of plot twists and swerves and, thought-provoking type film. This is, if you're looking for that, this ain't for you. This is just straight up balls to the wall action movie excitement, popcorn, just adrenaline pumping film. And I'm all in for that. This was my type of movie. I grew up on that type. You know, when I say 90s action movies, I'm talking your Rambo 3s and your, you know, Con Airs and, you know, those in that genre. You know what I'm saying? Just action. It ain't about story. It's about action. And this is that. I enjoyed it. I really did enjoy it. Let's start off with the positives. Starting with the cast. Ryan Gosling. I was a big fan of his going into it. Still a big fan. I enjoyed his character as Six. We never get a name. We just get a number. And he is Six. And he knocked it out the park. Ryan Gosling is normally the strong, silent type in his films. You know, if you ever notice, he doesn't really have a lot of dialogue in his movies. And I don't think it's because they shielded him. I just think he emotes. You know, he says a lot without talking. And that's a skill. That is truly a skill. So I'm not knocking him because he doesn't have a lot of dialogue in his movies. Because some actors, they don't give a lot of dialogue to because they can't speak. You know, I'm trying to find the kind where we just say it. You know, they can't act. I'll just put it out. They just can't act. So they don't give them a lot of dialogue. But in Ryan Gosling's case, he can handle dialogue. He just, you know, he emotes, you know, with his facial expressions or his actions and stuff like that. And he'll get his point across that way, you know, because sometimes you don't need dialogue to move the story forward. You know what I'm saying? And he has the talent to move the story forward without having to tell you. And that's a skill. And here, he talks, you know, and emotes. He does them all. And I enjoyed him. He was funny. You know, he was serious when he needed to be. He was stern when he needed to be. And the action, he handled it to a T. I think he was in the best shape of his life here. I mean, he was doing some stuff. Yeah, I thought he was John Wick Jr. You know, he was a beast, man. I truly enjoyed him. His counterpart, his foe, Chris Evans. Chris Evans, this should have been the most ridiculous, stupid villain in movie history. Because it was written that way. But Chris Evans breathed life into this role and gave it the Chris Evans treatment. Chris Evans could easily have fell into that typecast, you know, Captain America, Steve Rogers, Boy Scout roles, you know, but he gave us a swerve here, you know, with this performance. He was silly, he was funny, he was menacing at times, you know. He was a psychopath in this movie. His character, and this movie didn't deserve that. I mean, because like I said, this was a silly villain, it was just completely ridiculous, this type of character, but he made it work. And I enjoy Chris Evans. He stole the movie, really. As much as I love Ryan Gosling, Chris Evans stole the movie. Loved it. I definitely love his performance here better than I loved his performance as Buzz Lightyear. I'll give you that much. He redeemed himself with this. Ana de Armas, I liked her here. I didn't love her. I liked her. She handled the action, but other than that, she really didn't have much to do other than action. But her action was great. You know, she had a fire scene in No Time to Die, the James Bond film, and it was just one scene, but she had character. You know, she had it was something about it that made you wanted more of that character, but it was just for one scene. Here you got more action, You know, you got more of her fighting, but not so much of a character development. You know, I really didn't know nothing about her character. Well, before I go into the negative, I still got one more positive. Russo brothers did an excellent job directing this film. The action looks amazing. It looks beautiful. It was paced great. I mean, it was fast paced. Movie really didn't drag that much. Actually, not at all. Well, I might as well go into the negatives now. But it was directed great. Negatives, going back to the pace. It was fast paced, but for some strange reason, at the end of the movie, it felt longer than what it was. The movie is like 2 hours and 10 minutes, maybe 50. I don't know. It's around that range. It's a little bit over 2 hours. It never gets boring. I've heard critics, I read where critics said this was a boring action movie, which is the most ridiculous of ridiculous statements. How can action be boring? I don't know. I haven't seen well, I'll take that back. I've seen some I've seen a couple. As soon as I made that statement, I thought of about 5 boring action movies. So I take that back. It is possible, but this wasn't one of them. This was actually exciting. It was action packed. You know, normal action movies have about 3, maybe 4 set pieces. This movie had about 10. It was, I mean, from beginning to end, it was boom, 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 boom. I mean, it was a lot of action. And when you have a lot of action like that, there's not enough time for story. And I think that's what suffers here. There's not a lot of story here. You get some, you know, expedition scenes in there where they give a little backstory to a character here, or you know, a little flashback here, but other than that, it's really not a lot of story being told, and a lot of character development suffered. Ryan Gosling's character gets some development. Chris Evans' character Lloyd didn't get a lot of backstory. You got, you know, some explaining, oh, who is he? Oh, well, he worked here, that, you know, your standard little stuff there, but it really wasn't a lot of development there. Ana de Armas' character, she had 0 character development. Billy Bob Thornton's character, he was kind of wasted. He was wasted. As much as I loved him, and I love Billy Bob Thornton, big fan of his, but the character was useless. He was just a torture device. You know, he was just a MacGuffin at points. You know, it was a wasted character, a waste of talent there. Because Billy Bob Thornton is a very talented actor, and I think they could have used him better. But it was a waste. The young man who played the not FBI, but the CIA director, who is the main villain of the movie, he had nothing to do. He did nothing but sit behind a desk. I can't think of his name. He was on Bridgerton. You know, all the women. Ask your wife or your girlfriends, and if you're a female, you probably know who he is. He was on Bridgerton, and every woman on planet Earth is throwing themselves at him. I never watched Bridgerton, at least the first season. That's what they talking about. That fella. He was the villain here, and it was useless. He was useless. Speaking of the action, as much as I love the action, there was a couple of scenes where the CGI didn't work for me. All the action looked good, you know, the hand-to-hand combat and all that there. That looked good, but it was a couple of scenes, and if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't seen it, you're going to see it when it happens. It's like, oh, this does not look good at all. It kind of threw me out of the movie for a couple of minutes, but I enjoyed that. I did enjoy the action. Other than that, there's no negatives there. I think well, no more. Everything else worked for me. The actors worked for me, even though the writing wasn't that good. That's another negative. The writing wasn't top notch. But like I said, this is like a 90s action movie. You didn't get good writing in 90s action movies either. So that's to be expected. But I'm not going to fault the actors for the writing. They can only do so much. So, and they did the best they could. And I think they had some bright spots despite the bad writing. Well, not bad, right? I ain't gonna say that. They were poorly written characters. They did the best that they could do. I think that sounds a little better. They're probably gonna make a franchise out of this, and I'm all for it. This is a film that I will watch again. I would definitely watch again, and it's on Netflix, so I got nothing to lose. So I would definitely watch it again. I enjoyed it, really did enjoy it. If they make sequels, I'm on board with that. It was definitely set up for sequels. I know this particular film is based on a book. Actually, they have a series of books. I think there's 9 books in this series, so they have a lot of source material to bounce off of. I didn't read any of them, so I don't know which particular book this film is set on, but the film itself is definitely set up for sequels. So hey, I'm all for it. If the Russos are for it, Ryan Gosling is for it, and everybody else involved, I'm all in. I would definitely watch it. Don't think they'll get another $200 million to do it. But hey, they'll figure it out. My grade for The Gray Man, I give it a B-. It is enjoyable. If you're into this type of action, it's for a particular audience. I'll say that much. If you're not an action junkie, you're probably not gonna like it. If you're into story-driven films, you're probably not gonna like it. But if you just want a, popcorn, edge of your seat, adrenaline-filled, fast-paced action movie, this is the movie for you. I enjoyed it. This is my type of hype. But I can completely understand those who aren't into action movies. You're probably not gonna like this movie. So I get it. But this is me here. This is me. I enjoyed it. So I highly recommend The Gray Man. It gets a grade of a B-. Let me know how you felt. If you've seen The Gray Man, how did you like it? Did you enjoy it? Did you not like it? Hey, even if you're an action movie lover and you still didn't like it, hey, let me know. I want to know. Email the show, kbradiopodcast@gmail.com. Let me know. Just shoot an email. Express your feelings on the film. Also, you can let me know on social media. If you don't want to email, just let me know on social media. Look up the KB Radio Network. I'm on all social media platforms. On your listening devices right now that you're currently listening to the KB Radio Network, and I appreciate it. Don't forget the 5 stars, people. Don't forget the reviews. It helps the show out tremendously. Also, share the show. Let everybody know you're listening to the show so we can build up this community and we can have a community of movie lovers coming together. Boys and girls, dogs and cats, living together. Complete anarchy. Anyway, I appreciate all of you coming and listening to my review of The Gray Man, which is available on Netflix right now. Check it out. As always, I want you all to know I love you. Continue to love one another. And until we speak again, you all be blessed.